Hey guys, so as the title of the video says, I'm going to be fitting ambient lighting to the Jag today. This is something I've been wanting to do for a really long time, and I'm finally getting to it. So my car didn't come with the ambient lighting package, and I decided to buy this smart EL wire. This is going to be like a 3-phase project because I can only do the doors for now, and I've actually had to replace the wood trim on the doors because the wood trim on the dash over here started bubbling, and I don't have enough of this vinyl to wrap it with. So, and I can't get any because of lockdown. So being impatient, I decided I'd use a roll of rosewood and cover the car with that. So I did the center console first, which actually looks very nice, and I decided, well, if that looked nice, then I'll go ahead and do the doors. So I did the doors, and now that I've done the doors, I'm going to be doing the EL lighting as well. So I've already done the driver's side. I'm going to do the passenger side now and show you guys how I did it. So if you want to do this mod yourself, you can go ahead and do it. Now, I've already done a video on how to remove the door pad. I'll put a link to that at the end of this video. But the one, you're only going to be interested in one of these. But the wire you're going to be interested in is going to be one of either these, because these hook up to the ambient lighting that are currently on the door pad. And I want to add to that. Now, something I noticed when I was testing for ground and positive, I noticed that these little terminals, if you have a very careful look at these terminals, you'll see there's a very small number, and I don't know if my camera can actually show that up. I'm going to try and pan in. They are numbered 3 and 2. So the one on the left is numbered 3 and that one is numbered 2. And it's very difficult to see the numbers, but you can actually see them there. So 2 is live and 3 is ground. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be splicing into these wires, and what I did is I think I took the longer one, this one over here, and I just pulled the factory's covering back a little bit further so that I've got more wire to play with. And I'm going to be taking the conduit off these 2 wires here. Now I know what you guys are thinking, sacrilege, how can you cut into a Jag's wire? Well, I'm not cutting the wire per se, I'm just, revealing the wire so that I can hook into it. And I'm going to do that right now. So what I do is I just take a scissor and I score it just a little bit, just to scrape some of the conduit off there. And once I get that conduit off, I'm revealing the bare wires. Right, so I've exposed the wire now a little bit, and just get some of this conduit off using my teeth. So there the wire is exposed, and what I'm going to do is just remembering that the way these things are hooked up, that this one will be my black wire over here on the left, and this one over here is going to be my red wire, my live, my positive. Right, so I got the EL wire out of the packaging, and this is the little transformer because they work on AC, so it converts the DC to AC, and they come with two wires off your transformer. So the red and black wire is where you're going to connect up to your car, and then this black wire that comes off this thing is just a connector which you connect onto either side of the EL wire. So I'm just going to connect them up now, and we can just quickly do a test to see if it's working, because you don't want to wire it up and then find that you haven't tested it and it's all wrong. Right, so I've got my EL wire hooked up now to this wire, and here's the EL wire here. I'm just going to turn on the ignition and turn on the lights. and see if it works. Okay, it is working. And if I put it down here, you can see it's working over there. So I've hooked it up correctly. I had to find a place to put these things. So what I did is I've actually put them on top of the speaker just like that, because I can only use double-sided tape, and I got this clear gel-like tape on AliExpress which is actually holding the trunk spoiler on, and that stuff is very, very good. So you know, you don't even have to wipe the surface with a cloth or anything like that. I just wiped some of the dust off and stuck it right on here. And the reason I'm sticking it on something that it can just sit on as opposed to sitting on the door this way is because every time somebody closes the door, this thing could come loose and then end up rattling inside the door. So I don't want that. There's nowhere for me to put tie backs and stuff like that in. I suppose I could tie it onto one of these existing wires, but I'm going to give the double-sided tape a chance and see if that works, and if it doesn't, well, then I'll try a different solution. I'm just going to stick it on the bottom of this thing. Man, this stuff sticks like crazy. I just take that off and stick it onto the speaker right there. Now, that is not going to go anywhere. It's pretty stuck on already. It's just not moving. Okay, so I now have the plug for this. So this is going to be attached to the door card, remember. So we do need a plug. And that is why I'm glad these things come with a little plug, so that you can actually just pull these connectors off. And you can leave this thing behind when the light goes with the door card, when they take it off to maybe do a window regulator in the future or any maintenance behind the door pad. So to prevent any rattling and noises coming from this modification, I use this tape. This is automotive tape. It's made from material. It's sticky, and this is actually what Jaguar actually have on their wiring looms. And I use lots of this stuff, quite a lot of it actually, because it does help with dampening noise. So before I actually put that on here, I'm just going to use some electrical tape to cover my joins and to prevent transfer of electricity. And what I'm doing is I'm making sure that the wire pulls to the back of the cable like that, because I'm going to be covering these two in automotive tape, and then let this one split out from that. So I'm angling them to the rear from the actual plug. I just want to make sure that red live one is very well insulated and that it's on there real good, and then we can just go around both of them. Right, so I spared you guys a boring footage of covering these in automotive tape. So here's our box over here. I've got the power cable that's connected to my ambient lighting cable on the car. I've got that connected and covered. And then this cable, the two black wires that comes out of it from there, with the little plug that is going to connect into my EL lighting, I've got that covered. And this is what we're going to unplug every time we take the door pad off. And it's working, so I'm very happy with that. Now all I have to do is disconnect this again. So now I'm going to do the trim pad, and I've got to take the wood trim off in order to do that. Okay, so looking at the back of your trim pad, you're going to have to undo that screw there. There's 6 screws, these little screws here. You're going to have to undo that one, and 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 there's a little one hiding right up there. You've got to undo that one as well. So there's 6 of them. Once you've undone them, don't lose them. What you've got to do is you just got to give it a tug from the front, and they'll all come off. So that's the door pad now, with the wood trim off the car, and you can actually see the texture there. It's just beautiful, absolutely stunning. And yeah, it needs to be cleaned up but I'll clean it when it's on the car. You know, as you can see, I covered it in vinyl, and not an easy job, not for the faint-hearted. So here's the back of the door pad, and as you can see, I've taken the EL wire through the very, very last hole on the door pad where the wood trim actually connects to. That is this hole over there. And the reason I've done that is because there are no other holes here that you can actually get it through because of this little plug. So you need to get this little plug through somewhere, and I've put it through the very first clip because that is where the EL wire is actually going to start running from. And I'd recommend, if you're going to do this, do it from that hole as well. Hello, Dash. And then it would run all along this portion over here of your door pad. So now that I've got this through, I'm going to get the wood trim on, screw it on, and then I'm going to run the EL wire on through the wood trim. So there we are, and just got to make sure that it's positioned in exactly the right place where I want it to be turning around. So, because we're going to turn this thing around on itself, and just got to make sure that we are doing that. Right, now I'm not going to put it in just yet. I'm going to tighten all the screws at the back, and the reason we do that is so that we can make sure that the wood trim is lined up properly with all the necessary holes. Because if you do the EL lighting before you tighten these screws, all these holes are not going to match up with your wood, because the wood trim is going to move around, or your piano black trim is going to move around. So it's important to get the screws in first. Got all the screws in, the wood is nice and tight, and it's in. And what I'm going to do now is get the EL wire, and because it's got this lip on it, you stick that lip into the groove all around the wood trim. I'm just going to loosen it up a little bit on this corner. If you find you can't get it in, you might have to loosen some of the screws at the back and then do it. And then all we have to do is cut it over there. So now we'll get the door pad on the car. So that's it for this video, guys. Like I said, the videos on the ambient lighting are probably going to be 3 phases. So this is the first phase. The second phase will most likely be the dash. I want to take the lights all along the dash, wood trim as well, so that the line follows the doors when the doors are closed, and it follows it all across the dash to the other side over there on the driver's side. And I want to put some ambient lighting underneath the wood trim over here on the center console, and maybe on the sides of the black trim as well. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments below. What would you do, or where would you put EL lighting in your car? You know, if you don't have an XF, where would you put it if you had one? So the other thing is the wiring that I'm going to be running for all the dash ambient lighting is going to come from up here. And this is the only spot that I could find that had a link to the headlight switch. So if I turn on the headlights, there are lights there's a little light up here that actually shines down on the center console. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's a little light that sticks out over here. The rear has it as well. And I'm going to run a cable, a live cable, positive only, all the way down here, and then I'll hook it up with a negative, and then I'm going to have, that will be my central cable, and from there I'm going to have a splitter leading to all the cables that I need. So I've already made up a wiring loom that's going to come from here to there, but I don't have enough wire to do the rest of it. I need enough wire to run cables from that cable to the center console and also to up here. So I would like to order some wire, but I can't because of lockdown. And AliExpress is not shipping to South Africa right now. So until they do, everything is kind of on hold, and I was just fortunate that I had enough wire to do the door pads. The third phase will be the LED lighting under the seats. So I just want a very soft blue sort of hue underneath the seats at night as well. So I'm going to have to run a loom probably through the center console and coming out like I did in my Mazda CX-5, coming out down here and linking up to the track and not the actual seat, because if they ever take the seats out the car, they'll end up pulling all your work out. So it's important to actually, when you wire these things up, you've got to think about what's going to happen down the road. You know, if they have to remove any component on the car, will they be undoing all the work that you've done? So, you know, I'm kind of doing this for longevity, and for that reason, I've thought very carefully about where I need to put the lighting. The wood trim is actually bubbled here, and this is the reason I had to change all the wood trim in the car. And yeah, so rosewood it is. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. It's probably going to be a while before I do another video on ambient lighting, but there will be some other videos coming up, for example on the dash cam that I'll be showing you footage on, and a couple of other videos on other things that I'll be doing on the car. So thank you for watching, stay tuned and stay safe. Cheers, bye.